We got 96 tracks to rank this time. Last time I did this, there was only waves 1 through 4. Now the last 2 waves are out, and my opinions have changed on a considerable amount of the courses. So, without further ado, we are going to rank every Mario Kart 8 Deluxe track from worst to best. Starting in the F tier. There are only 5 courses in F tier. These are the courses I truly hate, and in my opinion, the worst track in the game. Amsterdam Drift.
What? Relax, Kevin.
I despise this course. This course is awful. I hate everything about it. The music pisses me off so much. It's so annoying. There's too many blind turns. I think the aesthetic is boring, and spending half the time underwater is stupid. And the end is so annoying. There should be arrows. Like, it's such a convoluted mess, and I just despise just basically everything about this track. It pisses me off every single time I have to race on it. I hate it, and yeah, it's the worst track in the game. You can call it bias all you want or whatever, but I just do not like this course. It is the worst track in the game, and yeah, it's bad. And now we will talk about Excite Bike Arena. See, the sin that Excite Bike Arena commits is it's just super boring. Whereas Amsterdam Drift I just hate. But Excite Bike Arena is still terrible, so boring. The gameplay is unintuitive and just repetitive, and nothing special about this track. The only thing slightly redeeming about it is the song is pretty good. And that's it. Excite Bike Arena is just terrible. Go away. Alright. Now, coming in the third spot of F tier. I almost put this as the second worst, but I'm going to talk about Berlin Byways. If you want to talk about a mess of a track, then look no further than Berlin Byways. This track is just a fucking clusterfuck. There is too many blind turns and just confusing gameplay, and it is just a rage-inducing course. At least the aesthetic on this course is pretty good. So that's something, but other than that, like, it is just not good. I don't like this course. Yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about it. If the gameplay is so bad that it's down here. And if you want to know the criteria I'm using to rank these, go check out my previous ranking of these tracks video. I'll put it in the description, and yeah, we'll keep going as Sunshine Airport is next. This course is just bad. As I said in the last video, you really don't spend a lot of time in the airport itself as much as you do just going through shitty gameplay parts and going to the sky where the music cuts off, and you have that stupid shortcut at the end, and there's just nothing good about this course. There's nothing like absolutely terrible like the other 3, but like, it's just, I just don't like this course at all. There's too many jank moments in it where you can easily hit something and get stuck, and like, sometimes it just doesn't feel fair. And there's like no cool shortcuts, there's just nothing, it's just boring and bad, and a different transportation area course is quite a bit higher. So, Sunshine Airport is the 4th worst track in the game, and the last track in F tier is going to be Merry Mountain. Yeah, I hate this course. This course is just, it's very boring, just like Excite Bike, and I think the parts that try to make it unique just suck. Like, wow, I really like the last part where you just drive straight and that's it. Like, the last turn before the straightaway at the end is so weird, and like, it just, I don't know, and like the alternate paths aren't anything exciting, and the music's kind of annoying, and yeah, like, why would I want to race on a Christmas themed track the entire year? Like, this course is just not it for me, and it is the last track in F tier, which means escaping the F tier realm from last video to start off in D tier is Animal Crossing. This course is just extremely boring, and that's just a big sin commits. At least it looks kinda cool, so I'll give it that, which is probably why it's not an F tier. And, you know, there's custom sound effects for your items and the ending, so at least there's some creativity behind it, so I have to give it that. But other than that, though, the gameplay is just not it. Like, the only kind of cool thing is trying to get the item boxes on balloons, and that's just it. Other than that, it's just an extremely boring course. I don't care that there's 4 different seasons, nothing changes, and it still sucks. So, it is going in D tier. And now, taking a completely different direction, we got Calamari Desert. I don't like this course in this game. It was even worse before bagging got nerfed, but still, like, I don't know, this track in this game just feels weird. Like I said in the last one, I liked it when the tunnel was an Easter egg instead of being, you know, required to do the course. I think they just made things, like, too convoluted, and the song is so much worse than it used to be, and, you know, bagging is still pretty strong on this course, even though it got nerfed. Like, as you'll see, a lot of bagging tracks don't do super well. I hate that strategy, but yeah, I mean, it's just not it for me in this game, and I think the aesthetic is not there either, and just a lot of straightforward, boring gameplay as well. So Calamari Desert will rank at number 90 on this list. As we go to Sweet Canyon as the next track in D tier. This track, I don't know, I think the gameplay on this track as well is very stupid and boring, and I don't really like the way this one looks either. I think the other candy-themed course looks way better, and, you know, the 2 different paths is alright, but, like, nothing's really changing on them. I mean, it's an earlier game course, like, I forgot what cup it's in, but, so it's meant to be, like, easier, but, you know, I think it's just incredibly boring, and it just doesn't do it for me. So, Sweet Canyon, going in D tier. I could see why some people might like this one, but for me, it ain't it. And now, Cloud Top Cruise is next, and I just don't like this course either. It looks alright. I think the aesthetic's pretty good, and there's some decent gameplay parts, but I think the rest of the track is just annoying. Like, the part where you're on the ship, like, the turns are so tight and so easy to mess up on, and the lightning is stupid at the end. Like, and, you know, the shortcut at the beginning doesn't really do anything. The shortcut at the end is very janky. Maybe it's a skill issue on my part, but very janky. I don't like it. And Cloud Top Cruise as a whole is just a whole pit of mediocrity. which is why it is in D tier. Now we have a course that disappointed me tremendously, and the first track on this list that is from waves 5 or 6 that was not featured in the last video, and that course is Daisy Cruiser. This track in this game is just not good. I feel like it's just boring, and like everything cool about the double dash versions, like not really there anymore. Like there's no cannon, like even though that path was slower, like it was still cool, and I feel like it's just too cramped, and you know, there's not a lot of interesting gameplay in this course, and for that, it's gonna sit in D tier. And now we get into 3 very similar tracks, so I'm just gonna lump them all together. So, the next track on the list is going to be GBA Mario Circuit, followed by Mario Circuit, and then followed by Donut Plains 3. All these tracks are just simple circuit tracks with nothing crazy. Donut Plains 3 is at least a little different, which is why it's the highest of the 3, but that's not something to be too proud of, as it is still the 84th best track in the game. And, you know, there's nothing like wrong with the gameplay on these tracks other than it's just boring. All the tracks look the same, and yeah, so they're just gonna sit in D tier. I'm not gonna go on a whole tangent about these guys. And then we have a track that I often forget is in the game, and that track is Water Park. Water Park, like, who likes this course? Like, there's nothing like too bad about it, but like, man, I never hear people say, man, I really want to race on Water Park today. It's just such a forgetful course. Like, there's nothing cool about this course. I think the anti-gravity section is completely irrelevant. Doesn't really make sense. And, you know, the ending is alright, I guess, with the Ferris wheel, but like, that's kind of it. Just a very boring track, and underwater sections, nothing special. So it is just going to sit in D tier. Now, we've got another track from the Nintendo 64 that I do not like in this game, and it is Yoshi Valley. When everybody takes the same 2 paths, it kind of just makes the whole having a million different paths gimmick kind of suck. And the egg near the end is very RNG and stupid, and you know, that's kind of like, there's no cool shortcuts, there's just nothing. Like, just you kind of take a couple turns, hope the egg isn't blocking the exit, and that's it. Like, I don't know, it's just not doing it for me in this game, and yeah. I think it's kind of hard to break away on this course. I feel like the pack is always very close, which isn't inherently a bad thing, but yeah, I don't like Yoshi Valley in this game. I don't know how controversial that may be, but it is sitting in D tier. So, Moo Meadows is next. Another just overall pretty boring track. The one thing I really do like about this course, though, is it looks incredible in this game. Like, oh my god, it looks so, like, realistic almost, while still having the Mario feel, and that's about it. Other than that, simple driving, cows are not a non-factor, and that's it. So, you know, Moo Meadows is just another track. And we have another track that I kind of forget is in this game sometimes, and that's Cheep Cheep Beach. You'll notice that most of these tracks in this tier, I'm just going to basically be saying the same thing, nothing special, and there's nothing about Cheep Cheep Beach that makes it defining over other courses. Like, other courses have an underwater section, and stuff like that. Other courses are near a beach, like Animal Crossing, even though that course sucks. So, yeah, Cheep Cheep Beach, it's just boring. It doesn't do anything wrong. Just a forgettable course, hence it goes in D tier. And now we have Paris Promenade. So for the most part, I think that the city tour tracks are kind of slept on, and I'm a huge defender of them. So other than the ones that are down here, which have like the annoying blind turns and stuff, I think people hate on them too much. But this course is kind of just whatever. The song is pretty good, I have to give it that. But everything else is kind of just, you know, blind turns, and I think the aesthetic is kind of bad compared to the later ones that were released. And, you know, Paris Promenade, it's not like as bad as Berlin and Amsterdam when it comes to the blind turns, but, you know, so it's not the absolute worst, but it's gonna sit in D tier for me. And another city track is Tokyo Blur. A lot of people rate this as the worst track in the game. Or at least one of them. And I don't think that's really fair. So, you know, Tokyo Blur it's incredibly boring, but I think it looks alright, other than, like, the water. So, there's not really any blind turns, so I have to give it some props for that. So, it doesn't do anything completely wrong. We have 2 tracks left in D tier, and with the Booster Course Pass coming out, this track was one that I was hoping would get in the most. And when I saw it was announced, I was incredibly excited. And now it is in D tier. It's Koopa Cape. I think it is just not good in this game. Everything that was cool about the Wii versions is just not in the game. Mainly in the pipe section. There's no current to speed up the gameplay. There's no zappers to shrink you. And the song is like kind of annoying this time around instead of kind of being a banger. And it just disappointed me tremendously. I don't like this course in this game. Like, it's kind of just another, you know, raceway almost. I mean, the current section is alright, and that's about it. Everything else is kind of just standard. I feel like the pipe section is like janky. Like, I think they could have made the anti-grav a little better, or just not included it at all to make it work better. But yeah, so Koopa Cape, not my cup of tea in this game. And the last track in D tier is the first of the 5 rainbow roads in this game, and it is the newest one to the series, and it is Mario Kart 8's Rainbow Road. As I said in the last video, look at the picture, and what color do you see on the road? It looks pretty yellow to me. Now obviously it looks a little better, you know, actually in the game, but I don't know, I feel like the whole space station idea, it was a risk that I'm okay with them taking, but I just don't think it worked out. And I feel like some of the turns are just kind of unfair, and there's some cool shortcuts, I guess, but like they become considerably less cool when you do them over and over again, like jumping from one track to another. And yeah, Rainbow Road, it's just not very exciting. Song is nothing special. I feel like, yeah, and I don't really like the way the road looks. So, Rainbow Road is going into D tier. Alright, now we are in C tier. I think this looks a little better. So, we have quite a bit of tracks to go over in this tier. Starting with a classic, SNES Mario Circuit 3. This track is OG, and that theme is still, you know, a certified classic. And that's enough to give it some credibility over some of the other basic circuit tracks that are in D tier. And, you know, nothing crazy, but it's not incredibly boring like some of these other tracks. So it sits in C tier. Now, coming in at our 74th spot, it's the next track in C tier. There's Bone Dry Ruins. Getting a little bit of a promotion from my last tier list. I've come to realize that this track, you know, it at least looks really cool, and the song fits it very well. And the gameplay is pretty good. So, I've kind of come to dislike it less, and, you know, the dry bones at the end are pretty cool. But, you know, there's nothing that makes it great. Like, everything I kind of just said is still like a 6 out of 10 at best. And, you know, this track is just kind of another one in the game. You know, I won't be, like, upset if it gets picked in the roulette wheel playing online. But, yeah, Bone Dry Ruins is sitting in C tier. Now, we have the first track in the game, Mario Kart Stadium. This is another circuit-themed track, but it's at nighttime. It looks cool. The song is nice. And, you know, the anti-grab is at least unique. I mean, yes, GBA Mario Circuit has it too, but it's much shorter. And I think in Mario Kart Stadium, it's long enough to where it feels at least somewhat engaging. And, you know, I think this is one of the better first track in the game courses that we've seen. It's, compared to courses like Luigi Circuit and Figure 8 Circuit and stuff like that. So, yeah, Mario Kart Stadium is pretty decent. Now we have Peach Gardens. This track is kind of just whatever. I mean, you know, it's at least different than the ones in D tier. But, you know, it's nothing like crazy over the top. So, yeah. I like how you go backwards on the last lap. Was kind of an unexpected surprise, and I think it works pretty damn well. But, you know, I don't really like the way the track looks, and I don't really like the song, and, you know, so it's kind of just a pretty whatever track. It's not bad, it's not good. We have another desert-themed course coming in with Dry Desert. This one's a classic from the GameCube. Still hate how they took away the monster in the middle of the pit. And I think the shortcut at the end is incredibly stupid. So front-running this track is pretty much impossible. So, but everything else about it is not bad. Like, I like the way it looks. Song is still good. But, you know, it's seen better days. But it's not as bad as the courses in D tier. so it'll sit in C tier. Now we have the first of two F-Zero tracks in the game, and that will be Mute City. Yeah, this track is just worse than Big Blue on all facets. The song is worse, gameplay is worse. Too many boost panels. Like, at least with Big Blue, it is different every lap and has way more unique stuff about it, but Mute City is kind of just very repetitive. I mean, yes, you're going fast, but you know, that's kind of all it has going for it. Like, I feel like the shortcut at the end is kind of eh. And yeah, Mute City, not bad, but not great. We have another. We have coming in at 69. We have another city track, and that track in question is Bangkok Rush. Yeah, this track's, I think it is one of the better looking tracks in the game, and you know, it's like another track that will be down the line. Every lap feels much different from the rest, and there's a lot of cool parts, like bouncing on top of like tent things, and you know, like the 90-degree turn part, and you know, song's pretty good. Racing through a river almost with these boats you could trick off. It's like cool. Going through markets. I feel like I might be underrating this course, if anything, but it is number 69. And its name is Bangkok, so kind of fitting, huh? Okay. Now we have Blue Lake. You know, it's kind of just a shorter course, but you know, it's not bad. Everything about it feels fair, and you know, it's kind of just, you know, I think it looks pretty good, and the song fits it well. But that's kind of it, you know, kind of just whatever. So it's going to sit in C2. Not much I have to say about it. Royal Raceway is next. This is a circuit style track, but it feels quite a bit different than some of the other ones, in my opinion. And it's a classic from the N64. And yeah, it's still not like great. But you zoom, you got this beautiful looking course, and song is still good, and yeah, Royal Raceway, you know, it's pretty mid course. Alright, get your water ready, because we got a hot take coming in. You just drink it, just like me, because coming in at the next spot, one of the most universally loved tracks in the game, Yoshi's Island. So, before I say anything, I have to at least acknowledge how much care and effort went into this course, because there's so many cool things about the Yoshi games that are in this track. It's got its own unique ending screen, and you know, item roulette sound, I think. I kind of forget. And stuff, but I never play the Yoshi games, so I really don't care. But, you know, the music is good. But my big problem with this track is the ending shortcut with the cloud. It's a great idea in theory, but I think in practice, it's kind of not really worth it for you to go for it yourself when you're just going to help out everyone behind you. I feel like you're better off just going and hope someone hits it for you. I think, as I said in the last video, it'd be considerably cooler if the shortcut only opened up for you. I know that would kind of look janky to other players, But I think that would incentivize people to fight for it more, and you wouldn't be helping others if you got it yourself. I think it's just kinda, I don't know, it just doesn't really work for me. And, you know, but this course, you know, still has a lot of creativity behind it, and some gameplay parts are pretty good, so it's gonna sit in C tier. We have another track that has taken a fall from grace, Coconut Mall. This track in this game is just not the same as it was on the Wii, or even in Mario Kart 7. It's just, you know, it's still kind of Coconut Mall, but everything about it, it feels so much more empty, and the cars at the end basically do nothing. They made a whole fix about the cars that was supposed to make them more challenging, yet you could still beat them the exact same way as you could when it first came out. Ooh, them spinning is really gonna make people have to think more about where to go. You know, you can still just drive right past them. So, yeah, this track kind of just, I feel like, disappointed a lot of people. I think people still like it in this game, but for me, I think it has seen much better days. So it is going in C tier. Alright. Next city track on the list, Athens Dash. Now this track looks incredible, and the music is good, but some gameplay parts are just ridiculous. Like, trying to find out that you have to drive through, like, the Coliseum part and make, like, a whole wide turn under, like, that, who's gonna see that? Like, that was so, like, janky, and it's still kind of janky. And why are there Goombas on the stairs at the end? And why are they kind of hard to avoid? Like, those are, like, some pretty big gripes I have with the track, but everything else about it is at least good. So it's gonna go in C tier, but I think, you know, the jankiness of it kind of holds it back. Alright, we have another track that's mainly janky in the beginning, Rosalina's Ice World. Yeah, that first turn, the way the camera looks is just awful. And that's another thing I forgot to mention with Koopa Cape. In the pipe section, the camera, when you're trying to turn, is just awful. Like, if you wanted to go for the item boxes in the pipe section on Koopa Cape, good luck being able to see where you're going to land. In Rosalina's Ice World, that whole turn, you're basically looking straight down, and it is just very janky. But the track does look, you know, it looked way better in Mario Kart 7, but still looks pretty good in this game. The ending shortcut adds something, but, you know, it's still kind of mediocre across the board. It's going in C tier. Los Angeles Laps is the next city track on the list. And, you know, I just don't like that they dedicated a whole section of Los Angeles to the oil mines. Like, and not like Hollywood Boulevard or going through the Hollywood sign. Like, imagine how cool that would have been. And there's some turns that are just very blind and unfair. But the song is still pretty good. I still like the way the track looks for the most part. And there's some cool gameplay parts. Funny enough, in the oil section with the gliding. And, you know, it's not great, but it's not bad. So let's go into C tier. Alright. Twisted Mansion is next. This track is good. But, you know, still nothing crazy. I mean, for the most part, you're kind of just turning. And the two different paths at the end is kind of cool. I like the aesthetic. The music's kind of whatever. But, you know, there's nothing like crazy. I mean, it's just kind of another spooky course. But really, I feel like Luigi's Mansion will probably forever be the best spooky theme track in the series. Like, you know, there's nothing crazy about this course. In the anti-gravity section, it just makes no sense. But, you know, it doesn't do anything wrong. Going in C tier. Well, other than the anti-gravity section. But alright. After Twisted Mansion, you got Vancouver Velocity. This track looks really good. And, you know, there's a lot of uniqueness to it. Every lap feels different. But, you know, that song is not amazing. And I feel like some of the gameplay parts are a little weird. And there's nothing, like, crazy special about it. Like, I don't know. The aesthetic is carrying it a little bit, I think. But, yeah. That's kind of... I don't really have too much to say about this course. Like, I think it's kind of just whatever. But, you know, it's got some stuff going for it. So, it's going to send C tier. Maple Treeway, you're next in C tier. And, you know, it's another track from Mario Kart Wii that I feel like got a little worse in this game. I kind of liked the way it looked in the Wii version better. Like, the cannon part looks better in the Wii, like, with the water and stuff, and I feel like the wood looks, like, of the tree, kind of looks, I don't know, it kind of looks too real for my liking. Like, I feel like it's supposed to be more cartoony, and the wigglers basically do nothing, and, you know, it's still Maple Treeway, so it's still a decent course, but, yeah, it's gonna sit in C tier. Rome Avanti is next, and I haven't played this track too much, but it looks incredible. Like, really, it's one of the better looking courses in the game, and I feel like, you know, there's a lot of cool things that relate to Rome, like driving on top of the Colosseum and stuff, like chain chomps, like, that's so cool. But, you know, there's not too many cool gameplay parts aside from that. And the song is kind of whatever. So, I mean, I probably have to play this track a little more to have more to say about it, but for now, I'm going to put it in C tier. This one could change for better or worse down the line. Now we have another track from Mario Kart Wii, Daisy Circuit. This track looks good in this game, and I feel like it's better overall than it was in the Wii version. And, you know, the shortcut being a glider section is just perfect, and more boost panels and less jank than in the Wii version. I think it's overall a more cleaned up version. So, you know, and the song I think got better with, like, the flute and stuff. But then again, it's still kind of a circuit style track. And there's nothing other than the shortcut in the beginning. Not too much crazy about it. So, yeah. We have 2 tracks left in C tier. The first one is Wild Woods. I think this is another track that a lot of people like, me included. But, I mean, yeah, this track is solid. I think we're starting to get into the good tracks. So, that's gonna, you know, like, the tracks in F tier are the tracks I hate. Tracks in B tier are either just incredibly forgettable or still have some bad stuff. These are kind of like mediocre but getting good tracks. And then like B and On are tracks I'd probably pick if they showed up on the roulette wheel if nothing was better. Like, I think the cutoff is probably around here. Like, I think we're starting to hit in the tracks that I actually really like. Wildwoods, you know, there's a lot of cool gameplay, like going down the current, doing tricks over lily pads, lots of tricks in the beginning, and, you know, it's not like an incredibly long course. And, you know, the gliding section is kind of just, you know, there. But, you know, the whole thing is in anti-gravity, so that's cool. And, yeah. You know, it's solid. There's nothing, like, crazy about it, but I like it. And the last track in C tier is Tick-Tock Clock. A classic from the DS. Still retains most of its coolness from the DS. But I think there's just a lot of tracks now in the game that are cooler than it. And it gets a bit janky. I feel like the shortcuts on the hands at the end are like, they just feel weird. And the swinging gongs, I mean, it's kind of cool running into them and just getting all your speed on the ground right after. It's like almost faster, but you know, it's still Tick-Tock Clock, it's still an icon, and you know, my biggest problem is there's kind of just a lot of parts where you're just driving straight, so, you know, but it's the top of C tier, and the 55th ranked track in the game. Now we're starting to get into some goodies. With another DS track, Wario Stadium to start B tier. I like this course. I think the way they used the anti-gravity was really good, and you know, it's got that good song, and a lot of differing parts in gameplay. They added an underwater section, which was clever, and yeah, I mean, it's tight, but it's not too tight. And, you know, there's a lot going for this track. I like it. It's a solid course. Looks pretty good. And it's a good one to start B tier. So, Wario Stadium, you did good. Shy Guy Falls is next. And this is another track that has a lot of, like, differing gameplay parts. Yeah. There's a lot going for this one, like the waterfall part, and the Shy Guys, you know, doing their thing, making their funny sound, like, who doesn't like that? There's a cool shortcut at the end, and, you know, it's got another gliding section where you kind of just do nothing, but you can go on the top route, but I don't think the top route is really worth it at all, so, like, that's kind of, could be wrong, but I almost never go for the top route, because it's easier to just take the shortcut from the bottom route if you have a mushroom. And yeah, but Shy Guy Falls is a solid track and sits in B tier. Now we have a track that's gotten a bit of a promotion as well from my last tier list video, Hyrule Circuit. I have to admit, there's a lot about this track that is different from other circuit tracks. I think the coins look cool. I never really played a Zelda game, so I don't understand a lot of the references, but the sword in the middle is a cool dynamic gameplay part, and you know, there's a bit of shortcuts and you have to dodge these piranha plant looking things, and yeah, the song is pretty damn good. And I used to, like, despise this course, but I have to admit, like, there's a lot going for it. It's going in B tier. And yeah, it's still in the bottom half of the courses in this game somehow. But that just shows that there's a lot of good courses in this game. So, it's in B tier. Alright. we have a track that is hated by the community with how they butchered it, but I think it's alright, and it's Sunset Wilds. I don't give a crap that it doesn't turn nighttime on the last lap. I think everyone got too butthurt over that. They've added a lot of, like, I think the mud element is really cool, and trying to take that shortcut in the beginning, it rewards you for being good, and I like that. And, you know, not being able to drift in the mud but still retaining most of your speed is cool. And the Shy Guys dancing is cool. I mean, it's not huts in the middle of the road anymore, but... And that song is kind of a banger, man. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of, like, cool little things about this track, and I feel like people putting in an F tier are just people that are salty with how they changed the sunset, and I don't think they appreciate that there's still a lot going for it. So Sunset Wilds is going in B tier. Now, we've got Ice Ice Outpost. The two differing paths for most of the track is great. I like how pretty much the entire race is centered around there being two different paths that you can go on at different points in the track. Makes a strategic element, like if you think someone might have tracked parts of the last one, you know, you want to take the other out. And there's a lot of really cool and hidden shortcuts on this track throughout the cave section and at the end. And, you know, the song is pretty good. I think the inside of, like, the cavern looks amazing. And, yeah, Ice Ice Outpost, man. This is a solid course. And one I don't really see a lot of people giving a lot of love, but I think this course is good. So, sitting in B tier. And we got a track I've always liked, and it's Choco Mountain. You know, it's a good course. They made it look better in this game, and, you know, not having to worry about getting bumped off on back to the start of the last section is, like, I kind of miss it, but at the same time, I think it's for the best. And, you know, you still have to kind of worry about the boulders, and that song is still good. And, you know, I feel like you're always doing something on this course. And I like it. Choco Mountain's a B tier track. And nothing bad to say about that one. And we've got Ribbon Road next. Ribbon Road, I think it's just a very creative track. Taking place in a bedroom, or some room, like a children's room, with all the enemies being toys, like the Mecha Koopas, and everything around it. Like, it's so cool. The Ribbon Road part is very engaging with all the tricking you can do and the shortcut. The one kind of gripe I have is how important the ending shortcut is, and how easy it can be for you to get past at the end. But, I mean, you know, I don't think that's enough to hold it back too much at all. Because I think everything else about it is great. Like, the music is good. And Ribbon Road, man, it's just a good time. Hacking and out like it. Sitting in B tier. Alright, DK Jungle's next. This is another track that I've kind of changed my opinion on a little bit for the better. It's got a creative element to it, a lot of Donkey Kong enemies like the frogs and stuff. And the shortcuts aren't too crazy, like the super hop tech on the flower. It's a little thing that's cool, and yeah, the banana in the temple looks cool, and the things screaming at you, I mean, they don't really hurt you at all, but, you know, it's still funny. And the song is good, and, you know, it's just a solid track. It looks great, and yeah, DK Jungle. It's just another good track. I mean, it's not one of the more memorable ones, but there's nothing bad about it. It's just solid. Perfect spot in B tier. Alright. We got 2 city tracks back to back here in B tier. We got New York Minute first. This track is just good, man. Live right near Manhattan. A lot of great references like Central Park and Rockefeller Center. And, you know, song fits New York. It's good. I think it looks great. You know, there's just not a lot of crazy gameplay parts at all. So that kind of holds it down a little bit, but I think they kind of got a lot of the references down. I think, you know, the big problem I have with it is the buildings are just generic looking and they don't really have that New York City architecture style. But it still looks good. It's still, I mean, it's meant to kind of look Mario-esque and, you know, does that well. And, you know, I like it. It's a B tier track. And now we have Madrid Drive. The song on this track is so good. It is really good. I love this track's soundtrack. I mean, it's just good, man. Like, well, the rest of the track is good too. Like, the Wiggler sleeping is funny and doing the crowd shortcut on the second lap. You know, it's just solid, man. I mean, there's a lot to like. There's a lot of cool gameplay parts, in my opinion. No real blind turns. And, you know, I think it's good. I think this is a track that probably only has room to go up, as I haven't played it enough to have a super strong opinion on it. So, Madrid Drive is going in B tier. And, yeah, it is in the top half in the game. The top half started with Ribbon Road, by the way. That's number 48. This is number 45. So, coming in at the next spot is the other candy-themed track, Sky High Sunday. This track just looks cool, man. I mean, a lot of people hate this track, but I think how floaty it is unique, and I like it. Like, on 200cc, there's a cool shortcut you can do at the end, where you can basically glide past the track. It gets sick. And the song is pretty solid. I think it looks great. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can go. Like, there's a lot going for this track, man. And people just don't like it. I don't know why, man. Like, the anti-gravity part is pretty damn cool. And, yeah. You kind of just, you feel like you're going fast. Even though it's kind of floaty, so. It's a solid course sitting in B tier. Now we got Sherbet Land. This is a classic from Double Dash. And still feels like it did in Double Dash. Like, I love the little freezies. That song is so cool. And this is one of the more aesthetically pleasing tracks in the game. Like, especially the cavern section. It just looks incredible when you compare it to a track like Rosalina's Ice World. Like, there's a lot going for this track. You know, the gameplay is kinda whatever, but it just looks so cool, and the song is so cheery and stuff, and, you know, there's some dynamic parts like the underwater section, and, you know, it's a B tier track. You know, there's nothing crazy good, but I like it. So, next up, another Wii track, and it is Mushroom Gorge. This track still retained a lot of the cool parts about it from the Wii, but I think overall it became less janky than in the Wii. There's still some pretty bad respawn points, but, you know, the gap shortcut's still there. And, you know, I just think it kind of looks whatever. I mean, it was one of the earlier released booster course pass tracks where they kind of really started to focus more of their attention on making them look good. But still, Mushroom Gorge, still, you know, fun time. The mushrooms are unique to it, obviously, for the most part. And, yeah, it's still a good track. I mean, I cannot like it. So it's sitting in B tier. Alright, we're getting closer to the end of B tier. We have a track that I kind of felt like I did dirty in the last tier list, and it's Yoshi Circuit. This is a circuit track that has a lot of unique stuff about it. Cool shortcuts. It's in the shape of fucking Yoshi. Like, music is great. You know, even if it is kind of a bagging track, but I think them nerfing bagging kind of also made me like it more. It's like, if you're really committing to bagging, you have to commit, and it's much riskier than it used to be. And that definitely changed my opinion on it a little bit, but man, it's just a good track. There's a lot of different looking parts, and you know, it's solid, man. I feel like I kind of trashed this course too much in my last video. I completely forgot about it when I was trying to rank it until the end, so not this time. It's sitting in B tier, ranked 41 in the game. London Loop is the next city track on our list. You already know what I think about it. That song is in the top 3 for sure in the game. It is incredible. It just fits the narrative of London Rock so well. Like, the track itself doesn't look great. It's not too many blind turns, but you know, that song is so incredible. Like, I don't even care if the gameplay is kind of whatever. Like, I would just pick it to listen to it, man. Like, you can call that stupid or whatever, but I don't care, man. There's still some parts of it that look cool, and there's some unique gameplay parts. So, you know, it's a B tier track. Maybe for a reason you wouldn't expect. If it had, like, an average song, it would probably be, like, bottom of C tier, top of D tier. But nah, man. Go listen to that shit, man. I'll probably put it over in the video again, but yeah. Alright. We've got 6 tracks left in B tier. And the first of them is Wario's Gold Mine. Wherever that one may be. In the last video, I couldn't find it either. It's so funny, and we're kind of just repeating myself. Where the hell is it? Here it is. Okay, holy shit. Yeah, this track is good. I think overall making the minecarts anti-gravity sections is better. Creates much less variance. I mean, you know, it still makes the gameplay a little less exciting, but you know, and I think the bats being less janky is good too, and it's still like a cool design track. I love the way it looks. Song is pretty good. It's not as good as it was in the Wii version, but yeah, I mean, it's a lot of parts where you're kind of just driving straight, but man, it's Wario's Gold Mine, man. It's a good course. It's a classic. It's going to B tier. DK Mountain is next. This is another track that's, you know, I think they made it better. I think this is probably its best rendition. Like, the shortcut is just cooler in this game than it was, especially in the Wii version, where you just slow down, see all the items, and they added another one on the mountain. I think it looks incredible. I love the way the volcano looks in this game. And, you know, they removed the railing for the cannon, which is kind of cool. Like, they added to it. Like, there's a lot about this course that they kind of just made better. Now, I might even be underrating it a little bit, but yeah, this is a good course in this game, and I think it's probably only going to go up for me. But for now, it's sitting in B tier, near the top. And next up is a course that also got a bit of a promotion from my last tier list, Riverside Park. Yeah, this course is cool. I mean, for how basic it used to be in the Game Boy, like, they made it sick in this game with the cave section. It's not an incredibly long course, but, you know, there's a lot of unique parts and things you have to look out for, like the piranha plants. And song is great. It's a good course. You know, just because, you know, it used to be more basic, you shouldn't really hold it back. Like, they had to bring back some of the older courses, and I think they did a good job with this one. So it's a B tier track. And we have 3 tracks left in B tier, starting with Swamp Ruins. This is a solid track on all fronts. I mean, there's some pretty boring parts where you're just driving straight, but the song is pretty damn good. I feel like, other than the end, the anti-gravity part, like the very end of the anti-gravity part, the rest of it doesn't really make sense. And the thwomps themselves are kind of a non-factor for a track named Thwomp Ruins. But it's one of the better looking tracks in the game. And, you know, there's unique paths to take, and a shortcut at the end. It's still a great track, and it's a B tier course. But there's 35 tracks that are better. Like Music Park. I like this course, man. Just drifting on the keyboards, the xylophones, whatever, making the sounds. That's so cool. The music notes getting all, like, malicious looking when they bounce. Like, it's so funny. This track has a lot of charm. The song is nice. You know, and there's a lot of cool gameplay parts, like tricking off of, like, the keys on the keyboard, and gliding past the music notes, and taking that tambourine shortcut. It's just a very well thought out track. All the characters, like, dancing, like the piranha plants. Like, it is such a charming and great track. So it is going at the top of B tier, with the last track in B tier being Rock Mountain. A slight demotion from my last list. I think this track just does not look as good as it did in Mario Kart 7. And the song also got nerfed, in my opinion. It's so good, but yeah, I feel like the gliding section is, like, too long, and I feel like the shortcut itself, centered around it, is not that great, but everything else about the course is cool. Like, the boulders you have to dodge going up the mountain, going through the cave, and there's still a lot that's great about this track. So, you know, solid. So it's going at the very top of B tier. Alright, we're in A tier now. We have 33 tracks left, starting with one of the most iconic tracks in the series, Baby Park. In the exact same spot as it was in my last tier list, right at the bottom of A tier. You know, a lot of people hate on it that it's the most basic track in the entire game, but that basicness creates so much chaos, and it's just a great time lapping people and having to worry about people in the back while you're in first place. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, how can you not love racing on this track? Like, chaos, song changing like every lap. It's incredible, man. It's not as chaotic as it was in Double Dash, but it's still chaotic, man. 7 fucking laps. 7. So yeah, Baby Park, like, come on, it's A tier. Another track that's very basic that people like to hate on, but Toad Circuit. This is another track that's always at the bottom of tier lists that I see, and I can understand, but I just like the way it looks. I love the Toad balloons, I love the song, and, you know, there's a gliding section, and there's, you know, some dynamic parts at the end with the shortcuts, but that's, like, you know, I can't let that carry too much. It's still an A tier track in my opinion. You know, it doesn't look like as good as some of the other ones, like when you, especially like the grass and stuff, but you know, it's still, you know, I think it's still a very fair track, and I like it. So it's going in A tier. You could fight me all you want, you're not changing my mind. Another track getting quite a bit of a promotion, going from C to A tier, is Electrodrome. Yeah, I think I kind of just did a disservice on this track in my last video. There's a lot going for it in this track, like how you make the music change, like on the certain roads, and you have the two different paths, both, you know, being solid options. There's not one that's definitively better than the other, and the shortcut at the end is very janky in my opinion with all the pipes, but other than that, man, this track just looks incredible. It's such a vibe, and it is solid, and it is the 31st ranked track in the game, bottom of A tier. And now, Waluigi. Which one? It's Waluigi Stadium. Where is it? Right here. Waluigi Stadium. This track's still good. You know, I like it. They made it look better, in my opinion, than they did on the GameCube and the Wii version. Like, it looks less dusty. You know, still got a good song. Still a lot of things to look out for. They added like even more dynamic gameplay parts with different paths kind of towards the end. And yeah, you're always doing something on this track. Hence, it's going in A tier. Alright, Toad Harbor is next, and this is another track that just looks really good. Love the music. A lot of different paths you can go on, which is great. Like, and for an earlier Cup track, this one's just really good. There's a lot of cool shortcuts or different ways to go, and yeah, my only kind of gripe is towards the end, just driving straight down. It's not like super intuitive, but that's about it, man. Like, everything else about this track is great. I like it. Toad Harbor, A tier. And then we got Piranha Plant Slide next. Another track that is just so cool. Like, it just speaks Mario Kart, man. You're driving in a pipeline with piranha plants trying to eat you. Like, that's just incredible, man. There's some differing shortcuts you can take throughout the track. The music is a bop. Love the way it looks. The underwater section, differing gameplay, it's nice. Shortcut at the end is very good, but, you know, whatever. So, it's a great track. I love this one. I mean, I don't know how you can dislike this track, man. It's solid, and you know, if you get a breakaway on this course, you kind of earned it. So, Piranha Plant Slide is A tier. Snowland is next, and no, I just like the way this one looks. It's another Game Boy course that added quite a bit. Like, the shortcut in the beginning is really good. It's probably the best shortcut in the entire game, but I think it's so cool. Like, just hopping over the snowbank, and you have to be good to pull it off, or else you're gonna lose a lot of time. And then, you know, the shortcut at the end with the ramp going on the bridge. And yeah, Snowland, it's solid, and love that music. Love the way it looks. The penguins are cool, and you know, it's not too many parts where you're kind of just doing nothing. So I like it, man. It's A tier. I like this track. Alright, after Snowland, we have the second highest ranked city track, Sydney Sprint. Oh man, I love this course. The music is incredible. There's so many cool gameplay parts. Not really any blind turns, like, and I think it represents Sydney well. Like, there's just so many cool little things about this track, different shortcuts, and it's great, man. Like, this track's just a funky vibe. That saxophone, man. God damn. Like, this track is incredible. Like, might even be underrating it a little bit, but as it stands, it's number 26. I like it. As we enter the top 25, we have a slight demotion from my last tier list, and that is N64 Rainbow Road. Had it in S tier in the last one, but it being so goddamn short is not doing it. Like, if this track was 2 laps, it would be in the top 5, probably. Like, but it's only 1 lap. You don't get to enjoy it enough, man. Like, they put so much care into this track. The road looks incredible, and the train throwing coins, and you still see all the fireworks of the characters, and, you know, the chain chomp still can get you. And the music is funky. I think I still prefer it on the N64, but it's still great in this game. But it being so short, it's like, if you fall behind on this track, good luck catching up, as you don't have a lot of time. Yeah, if you made it 2 laps, it would probably be, I don't even think it would still be one of the, it might be like on the longer end of tracks in the game. But I think it would still be, you know, not too long. So, still going in A tier. I can't knock it down that much, but yeah, it's number 25. Now we have one of the most aesthetically pleasing tracks in the game. I love the way this track looks, Neo Bowser City. This track's difficult, but I like it. I like its difficulty factor. I mean, you gotta know what you're doing on this track. Brake drifting is especially important on 200cc, still pretty important on 150. It just looks so good. The rain and it's so pretty. Like the Bowser at by the finish line, it's so cool. Love the music. Like, it's just gorgeous. And the gameplay, you're making a bunch of turns. It's kind of tight, so you gotta be careful about traps. Like, it's good. I love this track. And it is near the top of A tier, as Grumble Volcano is the next one in A tier. And, yeah, still a great track. They took out a lot of the overpowered shortcuts from Wii, which I think was for the best. And, you know, the grumbling section, like, you don't have to worry about getting stuck as much in it going down and losing like 20 seconds. And yeah, they did a good job with this one. Love the way it looks. Song is still great. Still gotta worry about the fireballs, even though they could be kind of unfair sometimes. And the fire snakes at the end with the 2 different paths. It's a good track. And I think the gliding section was clever. And I like how they did that. So, Grumble Volcano, A tier. And we have 3 tracks left in A tier. And we have probably the single most iconic track next, Waluigi Pinball. This track's great. It's not as good, I would say, as it is in the DS. They kind of nerfed the song a little bit. It's still good, but it still looks incredible. I feel like the pinballs are really not that much of a factor at all. And I think the end is, like, unfair and annoying. Like, sometimes trying to dodge the pinballs at the end is just impossible, and they break the item boxes. And I'm just bad, so I always run into the little booster things, and it pisses me off, but man, it's still Waluigi Pinball, man. This course is great, and it's near the top of A tier, and you know, still got the roulette sound for the item boxes. Like, it's still Waluigi Pinball. Come on. 2 tracks left in A tier, and we got Squeaky Clean Sprint. Just kidding. We got 3DS Rainbow Road. 3DS Rainbow Road, it's great. I think Mario Kart 7's Rainbow Road is the coolest designed Rainbow Road in the series. With that said, though, I think it looks better on the 3DS. The road is too blue. The moon section's too dark, which, you know, shouldn't really be the case when you have the sun shining right on it. And the last lap is too short, but everything else about this track is great. Like, you drive on Saturn's rings, and you're doing tricks on the road, and gliding past asteroids. Like, it's sick. The song is even better than in the 3DS, and it still looks great for the most part, but yeah. Top of A tier. And now Squeaky Clean Sprint will top off the A tier. This track, it's cool. You're in a bathroom, and there's a lot of cool things about it, like going in a drain, and the fan blowing you away, and the ending shortcut's very good, but it's one that you can always take. You don't have to worry about having a mushroom, and yeah, it's good, man. Like, song sounds like something out of a Disney movie, and like, it's kind of funny. You know, there's a lot of cool gameplay parts. I just don't think it looks the best, but yeah, it's still a great track, and it is at the very top of A tier. We have reached S tier, the top 19 tracks in the game. As you can see, we have a top 5 tier, so there will be 14 tracks in regular S tier. Starting with probably the biggest promotion from my last video, and that is Ninja Highway. This track is incredible. Oh my god. It looks amazing. There are so many different ways to go. It is so cool. The music is so catchy with the, I think it's Shy Guys. Like, there's a lot of really cool stuff about this track. I feel like the ending is a little whatever, but you're still driving on a fucking roof. So, it is great, and I think this is a better represented Japanese course than Tokyo Blur. It's so good. Like, it looks great, the music great, like I already said, and all the different paths. Like, you can take a different path every single lap, and that's not even all the different ways you can go. There's just a lot going for it, man. And you know, the gliding section's kind of dynamic. You have to pick a path again, and like, this track is just phenomenal. S tier, right at the bottom. And we got another one, Piranha Plant Cove. Another track designed in this game before they put it into work. And yeah, it's really good. Love the way this one looks, and the music's pretty good. When you get out of the water section, it just looks so goddamn cool. You're in like a temple underwater. Like, it's so cool, man. I don't have, like, you know, this is still like a kind of a newer placement, since I haven't had a lot of time to race on this one. But god damn, this track is good. And it is going right into S tier. Welcome to the game, Piranha Plant Cove. And we have Shroom Ridge next. God damn. This track's music, so good as it was in the DS. The cars are still something you have to actively watch out for. You have the gliding section and the cool shortcut at the end. Well, the gliding section's not mandatory, but you know, you always have to be alert on this track, and I like that about it. And the music is incredible. I think it looks pretty good. Kind of a biased pick for me. I've always liked this track. Always thought it was underrated, and it is going right into S tier. Fight Me. Love this course. And another one that is completely biased. I've always liked this track. Toad's Turnpike. This track is also incredible, if you ask me. The cars, again, creating a dynamic threat that you always have to watch out for. The music is incredible. I've always loved the way this one looks. You have different cars now, one that can send you gliding. You have the anti-gravity part at the end that you can take. There's just a lot of cool stuff, man. Even if you could just be driving straight for a while and the track layout is pretty basic, like, it's great, man. I love this course. Like, you're not just driving straight. You still have to kind of worry about cars or getting bumped into cars. I love this track, man. You can fight me. But yeah. We have the second highest Rainbow Road now in the game, and it's SNES Rainbow Road. This track is just iconic, man. They retained its basicness, and I think it's great. The thwomps shaking the track, and you got the cool shortcuts, and it's a difficult track. That song is still great. Oh my god, this track just looks incredible. Like, look at that picture, man. You have a rainbow fucking thwomp, and the road is rainbow. Unlike some of the other ones. So, yeah. This track is great. I think it's another chaos track, and I love it about it. And it is an easy S tier for me. Love this course, as it ranks right at the top 15 mark. DK Summit is next, and another track that is just great. They basically kept everything cool about it from the Wii version, I think. Overall, it's a more polished version than the Wii version. The half pipes on this track actually feel good. This is one of the few instances, I think, where they implemented the half pipes in a good way. Koopa Cape, terrible. Rosalina Ice World, terrible. Athens Dash, that one is useless. And the camera on that one's, like, even worse than Koopa Cape somehow. And yeah, like, I think taking the half pipe is actually worth it out of the canon. You can kind of go across it, and it doesn't really distort your camera too much. Music is still good, you can still do the double cut, and yeah, this track is great. Love DK Summit, and, you know, still looks good. Heavy snow parts at the end, you gotta watch out for the Shy Guys, and yeah, half pipes at the end feel good. It's a great course. Alright, we got 13 tracks left, and we're starting with Dolphin Shoals. Ooh, this track is good. Man. I think most of it's underwater, which is fine, because I think it works. It's a floatier underwater section, which I think is unique to Dolphin Shoals. You do tricks off of a fucking eel, you jump through hoops with dolphins, and then when you get out of the water, you have a fucking saxophone playing, and that is one of the best songs in the goddamn game. And the track looks incredible when you're out of the water. Oh my god! This track is crazy! Like, and, you know, the gameplay, there's a lot of different ways to go. You're doing tricks off of pipes, blowing bubbles. And there's a shortcut at the end, which isn't, like, too broken. And, yeah, my only gripe is that I wish the saxophone song was there more often. And you were out of the water a little more, because it just looks so good. Dolphin Shoals is an easy S tier for JTWK. Number 12 in the game is the last circuit track, DS Mario Circuit. This is the best circuit track in the series. I think DS's Mario Circuit has always just been better than the rest. Because it doesn't always just look like a circuit. You drive past Peach's castle. You have piranha plants shooting fireballs at you. And you have cool shortcuts. You have a wiggler stomping through the road. You go through the woods. And that song is incredible. Yeah, Goombas chilling out. And yeah, this track is great. Like, I love the way this one looks, love the music, and for a circuit-themed track to have this much cool stuff about it, I have to give that respect, man. It's S tier. I love this track, and it is number 12 in the game, and narrowly missing the top 10. We got Cheeseland. Love this course. It's a desert track made of cheese with a saxophone, which is automatically going to give it props, and bagging being nerfed makes it even more enjoyable. You can actually, drive straight. The shortcut at the end is still absurdly broken, but it's at least a pretty cool shortcut. You have to run through fucking cheese blocks. You have a chain chomp trying to eat you. You have cheese holes you can trick off of. Like, and that song, again, is just a bop. God damn. This track just has so much going for it. I love it. And, the gameplay, there's always something to do. It's like kind of a tight course, and I like it. It's basically all on anti-gravity, and I think that works well. And we've entered the top 10 now, and we have another track that everyone seems to hate on for no reason, Sky Garden. Oh my god, they butchered this course from the GBA version and the DS version. It looks so much worse, and they made the layout worse. Okay, I think this track looks better than it did on the DS and the Game Boy. I think the track looks great, and they've added some shortcuts which weren't present before, like the one at the end. And the one in the beginning isn't great. And that song is somehow even better than it was on the Game Boy and on the DS. Oh my god, this track is just fun, man. You're kind of just in anti-gravity for the whole time. And it's just a fun time. This track just speaks fun. And if you want to put it in bottom tier, go ahead. But I see the light in this course. I think them making it a little different was great. And, it just is just a blast. You can call it a based opinion all you want. I'm here for it. It is a top 10 track in the game. I love it. Alright. Coming in at number 9, we have one of the 2 Bowser's castles in the game, SNES BC3. God damn, this track is so good. To make a SNES track this dynamic with such a cool aesthetic and an incredible song. That song is so fucking good. Oh my god. Look at how it looks. Look at that picture. There's nothing really that rivals it when it comes to being a eerie, lava themed course. Yeah, Grumble Volcano's still good, but look at SNES BC3. Grumble Volcano, you're in a volcano, but SNES BC3 feels like you're even more in a volcano. So many different tricks and paths you can go on, and it's a shorter track, but it's great, man. It's just engaging the whole way out. I love it. It's a top 10 track, and Moonview Highway follows it as a new appearance on the list, as it came in Wave 5. This was another track I really wanted to be in the game, and it's good. Similar to Toad's Turnpike, the cars feel more fair in this game than they do in the, way more fair than they do in the Wii version, which I think overall is good. And There's some shortcuts you can do. It's a pretty basic track, but like it looks incredible. Love the different songs for the different parts of the track, and you know, the bomb cars are still there. Everyone's favorite. And you know, even if the ending is kind of just boost panels, like I think there needs to be more tracks where it rewards you for being in the front. So, and this is definitely one of them. This is definitely a front-running track, and you should be rewarded for racing one. So, I love it. Moonview Highway is top 10. Yeah. Alright. We got 2 more in S tier before we reach the top 5, and it's Big Blue coming in next. Oh, this track is fucking incredible. Oh my god, the music is peak. Especially the final lap theme. Oh my god, that is perfect for the track. It's incredible. Where do I even begin with this one? You're zooming at Mach 10. You're driving on water. You're driving through these boost panels under a ceiling of water, and then you're just zooming. There's so many cool shortcuts. It's just incredible. And then you end in a victory circle. Like, it's a 1-lap track that doesn't feel too short. It's definitely longer than Rainbow Road. It's definitely a little shorter than one we'll get to very soon. But it's just great. I love the way this one looks. They just nailed this one. Like, everyone loves this track, and it's for a reason. It is phenomenal. Like, it's so sick. S tier. Alright, the last track in S tier before we reach our top 5 is one of them's getting demoted, and it's Mount Wario. Mount Wario was number 5 in the last tier list, but there's a track that's come into the top 5 to knock it out. But it is still probably the most ambitious design track in the series. It is just designed perfectly. Like, you start at the top of a mountain and you just keep going down until you reach a victory ski summit circle. You go through woods. You go through like a ski chamber almost. You go through an ice cave. You go down a ski slope. You go down ice on the top of a mountain. It just feels different in every part of the track. There's like there's a lot of shortcuts in the game, I can't even speak because this track is so good. There's so many different shortcuts. Like, it's just amazing, man. While you're going down the ski slope, you see people going up a ski shaft, and you've got, oh my god, that final lap song fits it perfectly. I think the other song is kind of whatever. That's like the only bad thing I could say about this track, and it's not even that bad at all. Oh my fucking god, this track is amazing. Just outside of the top 5. Like, if you want to say this is the best track in the game, go right ahead. It is amazing. Now, we have reached the top 5, and Super Bowl Subway starts us off. So, this track, I think, is just so good. The music in both parts is amazing. I love the top part. It's like a funky time, and then when you're in the subway station, it's more mellowed, and I think it fits because you're in the underground. It's sick. The track itself just looks great. The subway station itself looks significantly better than Sunshine Airport. As a reminder, Sunshine Airport was ranked number 92 out of 94, and this is ranked number 5 out of 94. Easily a more superior transportation area course. Undoubtedly, the subways create a dynamic threat, and if you know how to drive on this course, you're gonna break away, man. And I find myself breaking away on this track quite a bit. You gotta know what you're doing, man, and I think that's great. You gotta turn tight past the subways, and there's a lot of different paths you can go on in the subway station. You could take a top route, like there's like 4 different spots with item sets before the end, because that's how many different fucking ways you can go. Like, this track is incredible. It's not as ambitious as Mount Wario, but I think overall it's like a little more complete for me, just by a tiny bit, mainly because of the music. Like, if Mount Wario had a killer soundtrack, it would probably be top 2. But you know, Super Bell Subway, it's just the chef's kiss. I love it, and if you hate this track, it's just a skill issue on your part, man. So yeah, just cope. Alright, we have a new member in the top 5. Wii Rainbow Road is next. This is definitely the best Rainbow Road in the game. I think it is even better than on the Wii. The Wii's version of Rainbow Road in Mario Kart Wii was always good. A lot of people liked it. I never thought it was the best, but they took it even better in this game. It looks phenomenal, and everything janky about the Wii's version kind of just got removed. Like the road before, like the craters section and the half pipe section is way more fluid. The music is even better, and it just looks fucking amazing. It is definitely the best looking Rainbow Road in the game. It's kind of comparable to SNES and N64, but I think Wii's is better looking. And you can just tell they knew they had to end it with a bang, and they absolutely nailed it with this one. Oh my god. There's so many cool parts about this track, and it's just phenomenal. And they added back you going on fire if you fall off, and it's just great. It's great. Some people complain that, oh, you take longer to fall. Fuck you. Just because it takes a half second longer to recover because they wanted to add something cool, they're going to complain about it. You can fuck off. This track is amazing. Wii Rainbow Road. This is one of the most universally loved tracks in the game, and for a good reason. It's number 4. Number 3 is Bowser's Castle. The top 3 will remain unchanged from my last list, so if you already know what's coming next, you can end the video here, but I need to talk about Bowser's Castle. Bowser's Castle, this is easily the best Bowser's Castle in the series. I love this course. There's just so much cool gameplay parts. You have a giant molten Bowser punching the fucking track, making ripples in it that you can trick off of. Like, what? You enter the castle, and you have lasers being shot from the walls on the second and third laps. Like, what? And all the turns feel very fluid. There's some cool shortcut tech throughout the course. You leave the castle, and you're in this, like, molten area, which I think looks the best out of any of the Bowser's Castles. It's better than Wii's, it's better than the GameCubes, it's better than the DS's. Like, It's phenomenal. It's better than Mario Kart 7. It just feels like the song. It's intimidating and funky at the same time, which I think fits it perfectly. Like, the whole course itself isn't entirely menacing, but Mario Kart 8 went for a more funky style when it comes to music, and they just nailed this song. It is amazing, and I just love this course. It's perfect for what it's trying to do. It is a top 3 track in the game. You can fight me on it, but Bowser's Castle from Mario Kart 8 is unrivaled when it comes to all Bowser's Castles in the series. And I wish they added more Bowser's Castles in this game. Only having 2 is not enough. And as you can see, they're both S tier. So, yeah. Dragon Driftway is number 2. I fucking love this course. This is one of the best looking tracks ever. The song is perfect for it. Oh my fucking god. It is phenomenal. There's so many cool little shortcuts and details put into this track. It's very curvy, like, the whole thing is so curvy, and it's so unique about it. The anti-gravity parts feel really cool. You drive inside of a dragon before you drive on a dragon. Like, what? This track is so sick. I love it. Like, the gameplay is a bit challenging, yet feels fair every single time. And, oh my god, it just looks incredible. It's amazing. Like, oh my god, they nailed it, man. It's the best course from the original DLC pack on the Wii U. Easily. I think Super Bowl, well, not easily, because I think Super Bowl Subway came in too, but, it's just, oh my god, it's so good. I think it might be a little bit of a biased pick for me, but I just fucking love this course. Everything about it is great. And it is number 2, but if you saw the last video, you already know what's number 1. Singapore Speedway. Oh my god. This is a perfect track. It's perfect. It is, like, unquestionably, for me, the prettiest track ever. Look at the fucking picture. You have Singapore architecture with a fountain in the night skyline with all these beautiful fucking lights. And you compare this picture to a picture like, I don't know, this, or this, or this, like, it's just, oh my god, the song in both areas is fucking amazing. The Chinatown song, I wish we got to hear it a little more, because that song is incredible. Oh my fucking god. It's just amazing. Every lap feels entirely different. Like, the first lap is a little short, but, like, oh my god. You drive through Chinatown, you drive on a rooftop pool, you drive over a soccer stadium, you drive through fountains shooting up in the air, you drive, like, I don't even know what this is. You drive on, like, this, like, weird, like, aerial road thing, and it looks incredible. And you get to see all of the beautiful city. The nighttime aesthetic makes it look so good. Oh my god. There is everything about this course is a 9 out of 10 or better. Easily. For me, in my opinion. And for everyone that says all the city fucking tracks feel the same, if you're gonna tell me with a straight face that a track like Berlin Byways feels the same as Singapore Speedway, you need to go to an insane asylum. Straight up. This track is easily my favorite in the game. Which is insane of me to say, because I fucking love, like, all of these courses. But this course, I don't think it's ever going to change. This course is always going to be number one on these lists. Like, maybe down the line, I could change the order of some of these depending on our field, but Singapore Speedway is always going to be king. There's a guy on YouTube that the Mario Kart community likes to rip on for being too negative named Silocock. And here's what he had to say about this course.
Usually a map of this scale will have their one, like, money shot, as I call them. Basically a defined part of the map specifically made to make the players go, damn. Singapore Speedway has like 4. You got this initial cannon blast where you fly on top of this rooftop pool, where you then take a ramp off and then fly over this soccer field. You gotta jump through these rainbow water geysers, this conveyor portion interweaving through these abstract looking buildings, and then this final gliding jump where you fly over like, I mean, just look at all this shit. This map is so frustrating because if it looks this good, I mean, this good with Mario Kart Tour's shitty art style with basic ass geometry and textures, then can you just imagine how breathtaking this would look if they had the level of detail seen in the maps in 8? It's a fantastic map nonetheless, but just damn. Also, that music absolutely slaps.
Yeah. If the guy who you guys like to rip off for being negative has that to say about this track, you know they did something right. It is the best track in the game. Singapore Speedway. And that concludes the list. We can get a nice aerial view of the entire thing. Starting and ending with a city track. This is the tier list. It's beautiful. I think I did a good job on this one. Let me know what you guys would change, what you think about it, and yeah, I'll probably make another one in a couple months or so. So, if there's anything else y'all want to see tier lists on, let me know. Need to make more of these. These are always fun to come up with. And I'll see you in the next one.